So while I did want to update my zoo profile for this month because it is now April, I wanted to take a little bit of a different twist on the profile instead of my normal standard show you the cards, show you the standard thing, because I've done this profile several times. And so I am going to show you the list that I'm playing, and I am going to show you my card ratios. But outside of that, I'm going to make this profile a little bit differently than I make my previous profiles. Alright guys, so let's get into this profile real quick. Also, if you have not already, feel free to subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other content. And be sure to hit that notification bell for more daily updates. So first, we've got the obligatory, the 1 Rat Pier, the 3 copies of Thoroughblade. Then moving on, we've got the 3 Whiptail, the 3 Ram. That's pretty much it for the zoos. Then moving on to the hand traps, we've got 3 Ash Blossom. It's the most generic, obviously. We've got 3 copies of Nibiru. This stops literally any combo deck that doesn't make negates. 2 copies of Ghost Ogre. This card's actually kind of really good against things like Dragon Link right now, just because there's so many targets in Dragon Link it can hit. For the consistency spells, on to 3 Tanky and the 1 of Barrage. Of course, it's your consistency. Then we've got the consistency buffers, triple copies of Secret Rare Pot of Desires, 2 copies of Pot of Avarice, 1 Reborn as an extender because you need to play it in case your normal summon gets removed, 3 Infinite Impermanence as our trap hand trap, 2 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. We've got triple copies of Solemn Strike because it's just good against everything. And triple copies of Solemn Judgment. This didn't used to be in the main, but I changed it to main board, and I'm still playing the 1 of Imperial Order. And that rounds out the main deck for the extra deck. It's pretty much the same as it's always been. The 1 Trident, the best card in the extra deck besides Zeus, 3 copies of Borbo, triple copies of Chakanine. Where is it? Here it is, 3 copies of Chakanine. Then we've got the triple copies of Tiger Mortar. Then double copies of Hammer Kong. This is just a Zeus material for being real. Then of course the god himself Zeus, and Mega Clops to win the Dino matchup for free. Moving on to the sideboard, we've got 3 copies of Dimension Shifter. This is really, really good. I don't mainboard it, but I do side it because it's good in some matchups. 3 Droll for the Dino and Invoked matchup. 3 Lanzia for those same matchups, Dino and Invoked. 2 Twin Twisters and a Feather Duster for back row, and then triple evenly matched because it's evenly matched. So now that we've broken down what's in the deck, why don't we talk a little bit about the ratios and several aspects of the deck that we might not normally consider in a standard profile. I just wanted to cover a little bit more detail than a normal profile, and so that's why I'm bringing you guys this portion of the video. So sit back and relax and enjoy. So to dive into a little bit of theory, I wanted to kind of break down what I think makes this deck so good and why this is just such a good deck overall in today's metagame. I guess we can start with the monsters. So let's go ahead and break down all of the monsters that we play. So we have 1 Rat Pier, then the 3 Thoroughblade, the 3 Whiptail, the 3 Ram. And to search those cards out, we have 3 copies of Tanky and the 1 copy of Barrage to summon a zoo from our deck. What that really means is we have 14 copies of Trident in our main deck, because essentially we can get to Trident through one of those 14 cards, and by extension we can get into Zeus by one of those 14 cards. Now, while on paper that's all well and good that we have 14 ways to a zoo monster, it does matter that we calculate percentages of how likely it is to get to a zoo monster in our opening hand, because we do need to know whether or not our deck is consistent. If there are 40 cards in our deck, and we have 14 copies of cards that are either zoos or ways to get to zoos, then in a 5-card opening hand, we have a 90% chance of getting to a zoo monster or a zoo searcher, which is incredible. Essentially, zoo has a 91% chance, give or take a few points, of opening full combo in any given hand. Additionally, there is roughly an 81% chance that in a deck with 11 hand traps that you will open one of your 11 hand traps in your starting 5 hand. So what we're looking at is a hyper-consistent deck that can go first and second very well. The bottom line is this. There's roughly a 90% chance, 9 out of 10, that you will open a zoo in your opening 5 cards, which is full combo. There is roughly an 80 to an 85% chance that you will open a disruption card going second, which means if your opponent tries to go full combo, you're pretty insulated in terms of having a hand trap that will stop them or at least impede their progress, so you can attempt to play going second. And we haven't even gotten to the best part, this thing. Playing pure zoo in a world post-Phantom Rage means that you can slap this thing on the board after attacking your opponent directly with Borbo. Essentially, this card means that no matter what board your opponent makes, you can break it. It doesn't matter if they have Dragoon, which before Zeus was almost an impossible card to deal with. It doesn't matter if they have Savage, Dragoon. It doesn't matter. Their board simply does not matter, because Zeus blows everything out of the water. This card is single-handedly powerful enough to end games on its own without even utilizing Dryden over the course of the entire game. This is extremely true when it comes to cracking combo boards going second. Traditionally, when playing against combo boards, Zoo had to hope that Dryden didn't get crushed in battle and the pilot would get OTK'd just because there wasn't a way to crack an established board because of the inherent nature of Zoo. With Zeus, however, you can crack your opponent's board and chew through as many negates as they have as long as Zeus has at least 2 materials. Because of that, it simply doesn't matter what your opponent does, because you're still going to be alive and their negates are going to be gone. And the hand traps and the back row that you set, because you only used 1 card in your hand to get to Zeus, will all be live, and if you have enough disruptions, even moving beyond that initial turn 1, then you're going to be fine in the grind game, and they'll struggle to rebuild a board that they already built in the first place because their first board got wiped, and their resources are all but dwindled. So that's that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this in-depth deck profile and discussion on Zoo and the little bit of theory that I was able to provide to you all today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below, and that goes for general questions, questions about the deck, or just questions about the channel or suggestions or whatever you may have. It's me, it's that DMD, and your boy is gone. See ya.
You're my heartbeat, my silent drum.